Alright, good afternoon everyone. Today is April 17th, 2012. Before I get started, I want to recommend to everyone, if you have not taken the free trial with us, go to www.cfrn.net/apply. That's APPLY. And sign up for the free trial. There's no credit card required or anything like that. You just need to quickly fill out the little form that we have, give us a little bit of information, tell us where to send the stuff, and we will get it off to you. You can be up and running with the charts that you see here quickly, within a half an hour. Another thing that you get when you take a free trial with us, you get all the indicators that you see here, but you also get the data feeds that you see here. All these data feeds, and I'm going to be going through probably 5 or 6 of them right here. That's all part of the free trial. If anyone is out there listening that is on the free trial, we have a partners meeting Thursday night, and the partners meetings are usually very informative for everyone, and that's where we really have time to really get down to the detail level that you want to get down to. All right. We try to do it during the day. We try to do it whenever we can, but those partners meetings, we really open it all up for you guys to ask us questions and let us know everything that you're doing, what's working, what's not working for you, and how we can improve upon it all. All right. All right. That said, let's get into today's markets. All right. The results today, we didn't have that many trades. I have YM, I'm down 3 ticks. Gold, I am up 8 ticks, and I am down 6 ticks on soybeans. I don't know where my soybean DOM is, but I'm down 6 ticks on soybeans. That is where we stand right now. Now, let me go through the trades that I took. The first trade that I took, this is a soybean chart. I'll just start with that one because that's where I am. The first trade that I took with the soybeans, what I was looking at here on the, let me do this. I really don't want to confuse anyone, but what I was looking at here was having these three lines, the green, black, and brown line, all turning up and price closing up above the MA1 and the step line EMA that's in there. It did do that, and it pulled back down here and stopped me out before moving up to the profit target. All right. My next trade on the soybeans was over here when all these lines were headed down, and we closed down below everything. I shorted right in here. It took a really long time for this trade to work out, a really long time. It seemed like to me anyway. It did. It took like a half an hour for this trade to work out. I ended up taking a break even on that trade. I didn't put the other arrow in, but over here somewhere I ended up taking a break even on that trade. So I was down 6 ticks in the soybeans. That's all we had in the soybeans. There's a trade right now in the soybeans. Everything's headed up right here. All 3 of these lines right here are headed up. That's suggesting it's going to go long. It's going right into the BBC, so it may not have the leg in it that we'd like to see. There hasn't been that much movement today in the soybeans. It's kind of an odd day for soybeans. It started right here at 10 o'clock and finished right here. There's really not that much movement. All right, I'm moving that one aside. I didn't take any trades in the Russell this morning. I'll show you what's set up. The Russell was in a weekly trading zone or near a weekly trading zone most of the morning. That's why we didn't do anything. I had missed a couple of trades. This one right here, for instance, we were on top of the weekly trading zone. Price pulled back down to it. We had an up close right there after testing the BBC. That was a possibility for a long trade right there, but I didn't do it. Price dropped back down through the weekly trading zone. Weekly trading zone are these horizontal lines right here, these black horizontal lines that you see. All right, it dropped back down through it, and then it just took off on this run right here at 10 o'clock. Now, we didn't have any news events at 10 o'clock that I know of, but it just took off, and it didn't pull back till over here. Now, when it pulled back over here, we had bullish divergence, and again, I did not get involved in this trade. One thing that was happening this morning that made it difficult was the Russell and the YM were frequently below, or let's just say they were on the opposite side of a weekly trading zone with the ES. So like right here where this was going long, the ES was going right into a weekly trading zone. I think that that's the case. Yep, right here. The ES was right below going into a weekly trading zone, so we didn't take this trade right in here. All right, it did end up working out. You would have had to have a decent amount of risk on it, but it did end up working out. We didn't get a pullback to the BBC until way over here. Once we had this pullback, we didn't have any divergence down here at the bottom on the slingshot. Okay, the next move over, we had divergence here on the slingshot, but we were on the wrong side of the BBC up here. Okay, so there was no opportunity in there. Right here, we didn't have the divergence we were looking for, and this was actually during the break. Okay, so that's the Russell. We didn't have any trades on the Russell this morning. You know, we're not gonna trade just because we didn't have any trades. We're gonna trade when the opportunities are there. This is the ES, but I'd rather the ES 4-tick range with the slingshot, but I'd rather go over the ES on the 10,000 contract, and we'll go through that a little bit for you. All right, we really didn't have any opportunities here either. You know, this was pre-market right here, where we had some divergence in an up close after testing the BBC, and then it moved up, but we didn't really have any opportunities there on the ES 4-tick range. Now, let's go over the 10,000 contract. I'm going to blow this up so you can see a little more at once. This was in the morning here. Right here, we had pulled down to the BBC, and we had bullish divergence right here. The problem that we're having right here is we were right below the Russell and the YM weekly trading zone at the time. So we did not take this trade. It went right up to the MA1, got rejected by the MA1, eventually went through the MA1, and came back down to touch the weekly trading zone. Now, from here it went zone to zone fairly quickly. You know, in about 15 minutes it went zone to zone. I did not take any trades in here. We didn't get a pullback down to the BBC. You know, we were looking for this pullback to the BBC, and we didn't get it until all the way over here at the close of the morning session. All right, this was the first pullback to the BBC on the 10,000 contract. We had some nice bullish divergence in here, suggesting it was going to move up from this area. After it consolidated here, we weren't sure whether we were going to get through the zone and keep going up, or if we were going to get rejected at the zone and the resistance dots that are still printing, you can see, and move right back down to the zone below us. But as you can see, we did get through. We didn't have an opportunity in there, and our first opportunity after the bullish cross of the MA1 over the BBC was right over here, right here. Okay, that was the first opportunity. We consolidated again in here for a while. It's quite a few bars right in here, probably about 120,000 contracts in that consolidation period right there, and it's finally started to move up off of that. Okay. One thing worth noting, down here on the DMT, we had a pierce of the blue envelope. Price at the time was at 1377.75, I believe, right? 1377. That suggested a 5 to 6 point move up off of 1377. That would put us up at 1383. You can see it achieved that 6 point move right here. Okay, so the DMT pierced a blue envelope suggesting upward movement with a green trend strength line suggesting we had a strong trend in that direction, and up it went. All right, that is what we had there on the 10,000 contract. Let's move over to the YM here. All right, we took some trades on the YM, just a couple. We took a short trade right over here, and this is the one where we lost the 3 ticks. You can see here on the YM, I'll blow it up a little bit. Let me move my arrows around. You can see here on the YM, this was shortly after the open. We missed this trade right here that went for, I don't know, went for a bit. I think it went 15 or 20 ticks. We missed that one, but we did, hold on a second. We did take the next one right here. We tested the BBC right here, okay, and we had bearish divergence, so we took the down close right here. Once we took the short, price went sideways for a little bit, and at the time I said if it gets up above here, it's likely to keep going up, so I had reduced my stop to just on the other side of this, right, just on the other side of this swing pivot, and that's actually where it stopped me out, was right up here. And I lost 3 ticks on that. It went sideways for quite some time in there, and then it finally dropped down. I missed this trade in here I'll point that one out to you in just a second. I shorted there. I got out there. Over here I missed this trade where we had the bearish divergence. Price pulled up, tested the BBC, gave us a down close, so the entry would have been right here on the short side. I missed that, and that one did go the full 20. We had a bullish cross in here, a pullback down to the BBC with a bullish divergence on the slingshot. I did take the long trade here, and it went sideways for a while. I moved my stop up to just below the MA1, right? When price was up here, I moved my stop up to just below the MA1. It stopped me out. I was pretty aggressive with my stops this morning because the market yesterday was really, really conflicted. It was going, it really didn't have any range to it. Or any follow through. And you can see both times I did it today, it obviously had nice movement after the fact. This one right here, it seemed like right after I stopped out, it jumped up right up to the weekly trading zone. You know, that happens. Anyway, we ended up not having a trade in here. Then price pulled back down, tested the BBC here. We didn't get long there because the cycle was going against us, and if I recall correctly, at this time we were right below the weekly trading zone on the ES, so we weren't going to take any trades in there. Price finally moved along. All this period right here, I think we were right below the weekly trading zone on the ES. So we were waiting, and then finally over here, around 11 o'clock Eastern Time, we had the bullish divergence to test to the BBC and an opportunity to move up right there. I did not get into that one, nor did I get into the follow-up one right here, right in here, because the cycle was headed down. We did have nice bullish divergence right here. Now, as the divergence is developing in the live trading room, that's when I'm drawing these arrows down here, and I'm telling everybody, well, we have bullish divergence here, and there's an opportunity setting up here on the YM. So look for the pullback with an up close. That's the sort of direction that I'm given in the live trading room. All right. If it doesn't actually happen, I don't always go back and erase all the arrows because the divergence was there when I drew the arrow. And that was it. Those are our trades on the YM. There were some more trades in here, as you can see, just right here recently since I started talking, I think. There was one right here. You see there was the bullish divergence. It tested the BBC with the up close right there. All right. Really, you only need to get one of those a day, guys. You really only need to get one a day. Let's see. What else did we trade this morning? We traded... Oh, I want to show you this on the 1500 contract. Dwayne pointed this out in the live trading room this morning. This is a 1500 contract YM. Price came down here, tested the BBC. We had all this bullish divergence down here. We put in a doji right here, this right here, at the BBC with the bullish divergence. And after that, we had a bounce 12,950. Well, it's still going. So it's gone 113 points from right here on the larger time frame. Just a bigger picture look at everything that we're doing. Okay. So if you don't like all the quick little trades that we do, to make money, to pull money out of the markets every day, you can also use them on larger time frame things like this, and look for the bigger moves. Okay. I just wanted to point that out, and Dwayne pointed that out as it was happening this morning in the live trading room. Let's see, what other markets did we trade? We did the Russell, we did the soybeans, we did the ES, we did the YM, gold. Let me find my gold chart. Give me just a second. Gold. Here's gold. Gold was really jumpy at the start of the morning. All right, so I had not done anything with it. I just put it aside and not done anything with it. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it started out. Look at that. That was all in the same minute. All that stuff right there. It started out here at 9:30. A huge move down. We had bearish divergence. Right there. Right there. Okay, we had more bearish divergence over here. Right there. And right there. Then we had some bullish divergence, but we didn't have any of the price action supporting it. We had more moves down here, but we lost our divergence. Right here we had nice bullish divergence. It didn't pull all the way back down to test the BBC. It didn't actually hit it. We didn't do anything in there. We had some bullish divergence in here. On the up close here, after we tested, that was an opportunity. Over here we had some bearish divergence. After we touched the BBC, we had a down close. That was an opportunity. Right in here were some more of them. Now price right in here, I'm not gonna try to kid anybody. Right in here, from right here through all of this, all the way over to here, was untradeable. If you look down here at the bottom, you see the time down here is 9:55 and 10 seconds. All the way over here is only 3 seconds later. All the way over here is about a minute later. All the way over here, this is about 5 minutes later. Now that's when it got tradable again. All right. I don't know what happened in there to make the gold go nuts like that, but something did, and it did. Okay. Right here, we had a pullback up here with some bearish divergence. The down close was right there for the opportunity on the short side. All right. There were more opportunities in here on the long side on the gold. Oops. Right here, we'll see. Right there on the gold, okay, on the long side. There was an opportunity right in here. You probably can't see it all that well. Let me blow it up a little. Whoa, that's a little too much. Right here, you can see that little blue candle right there. So this spot right here would have stopped you out right there because we had an up close with the bullish divergence. So that right there would have stopped you out. We had more opportunities in here with the bullish divergence. Okay. Right in there. I missed all those. I finally took a trade over here. Okay, I missed everything leading up to this point. I'm just going to cruise right through this because it's taken a long time. I'm looking to see, we had bullish divergence in here. You would have had to sit through all that. I took a trade over here. I took a short trade in here. All right, we had the bearish divergence. It came up, tested the BBC, closed down right there. I took that short trade, stopped out for 9 ticks up here. The market really jumped up right here. Then it pulled back down to the BBC with bullish divergence. I went long right in here. And I sat through this whole thing. It took a while. It seemed like it took forever for this thing to work. I made 17 ticks on that trade, 17 ticks profit. I was down 9 over here, and I ended up plus 8. Okay. So I went on that long trade right there. Then we had another opportunity in here that I missed. Short opportunity here. It was a little bit messy in here. So we didn't do anything in there. Since then, you can see there were more opportunities right here. It was one where we had proper divergence right over here. Another one right here. Another one. And since I've been talking, there's been one right there. Another one right there. It's gotten a little choppy in here, but right now we have bullish divergence, and there's actually a long opportunity right here on the up close. Right there. All right, that was gold this morning. We ended up plus 8 ticks on the gold. Okay. I think I've covered everything. I was going to look at corn today, but I really didn't get a chance to take a good look at it. All right, the 60, the NQ. We didn't trade anything on the NQ, but there were some trades that set up in here. You see, we had the bullish divergence with the test of the BBC and the move up. This is for those of you guys who like to trade the NQ. All right. Again, right here, bullish divergence, test of the BBC and move up. Bullish divergence, test of the BBC and move up. And now the cycle is kind of messed up right now. Oh, it's actually given us bullish divergence again. So if we tested the BBC, we would anticipate another move up. Okay. That was pretty much the morning on the NQ as well. Okay. This was one that I had pointed out this morning when it was happening to the guys who were asking about the NQ in the live trading room. We also have the 6E. Now this is a 500 contract. Basically in this particular one, you're just looking for divergence and the bounces off the BBC. Okay, the same type of thing. This is a 500 contract though. Okay, so right now we have some bearish divergence and it's hit the BBC. You would look for a down close over here. Hit the BBC, you're looking for an up close. Over here you have bearish divergence in here and in here. It hits the BBC and closes down, hits the BBC and closes down, hits the BBC here and closes down. So there was plenty of opportunity there on the euro as well. One thing we haven't looked at well, I'll show it to you tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow's treat. We'll look at the 6B tomorrow, okay, which is the British pound. I'll show you what that looks like in tomorrow's recap. All right, that's it, guys. I've dragged this out a little longer than anticipated. Again, I'm going to stop the recording right here. If anybody has any questions, you can type them in right here, right now, or you can email support@cfrn.net. All right, if you're in here on the trial and you want to become a partner, again, email support@cfrn.net if you have not gotten an email from me with all the information it takes to become a partner. All right, thanks.